Andrei, how would you describe the Russia's fifth column? Is there a large number of magnates aligned with the West? And do you think they hinder the special military operation?
You're back.
Yeah, it's not only fifth column. Fifth column is easy. You know who they are, but you have to understand. And again, I have to go back to definition of press by Hunter Thompson from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And I'm not going to be quoting. You can find this quote yourself. It's a lot of profanity, okay? So Russian journalists, for the most, so-called journalists, for the most part, are the same. You have to understand. Much of them are basically remnants from the 1990s, and they are not all, make no mistake, I'm not doing the sweeping generalization, but very many of them are people who would love Putin gone because they consider themselves to be very smart, while in reality, most of them are dumbasses, you know? So the only thing they know is that, so how to say it? Yeah, they are there, but then there is a sixth column. These are the guys who say they are patriots, uber patriots, but in reality, they also want Putin gone, and they also want to go back to those sweet times when they could manipulate people easily. So, and as a result, you have this uneducated, stupid, basically community, people who wouldn't understand the first thing about real military. You have all kinds of the frauds, shysters, who present themselves as military specialists, which they are not. And yeah, that's what they did. And it was Russian media, especially federal media, which played a critical role of bringing up all kinds of the shadowy figures into their broadcasts. And those figures were, for all intents and purposes, either shadow resources or shadow assets of the Ukrainian SBU and GUR, which are the intelligence, downright, MI6, CIA. And so they were all operating as the specialists on Ukraine, as military specialists. None of them are. And now suddenly they face this situation when people begin to openly accuse them of working against Russia. And many of them do. And I know the opinions of the real high-level professionals in Russian military, for example. And so I have the conflict with Mr. Solovyov, big one, because he was dragging on, he promised to beat me up. That's the level of, I told I have to accommodate him, have to come to Moscow again. And so we'll see what's going to happen. So, but that's who they are. They bring all kinds of trash, which sits there. And essentially what they translate is FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. And it's they're lashing out in their, their throes of their profession, because it's, and again, it's not even that some do not even want to be, or do not necessarily are pro-Western, let's say, that's put it this way. But they want Putin and this regime gone. They're not saying this. And so there's a lot of questions about that. For example, just to give you an example, Mrs. Martyanov, who finally was actually registered as the not only foreign agent, but actually accused of the extremism and terrorism. Well, guess what? Russia Today, Mrs. Simonyan loved her. Well, guess what? She wrote 29 articles for RT, Russia Today. Guess what happens with those articles? They immediately erase them. Just a second. Well, luckily, internet remembers everything, So, and the question is now, but why Simonyan dragged this essentially, crude, foul-mouthed Ukrainian asset to Russia Today? Well, that's who they are. You cannot change the nature. This is a political class which thinks that they're smart. They're dumb. And they live in the 21st century. They have no skills to understand things. And the only thing they do, as usual, they emote. They want to sell all kinds, like Karaganov. Karaganov is just, he's a clown, basically. But yeah, he's promoted by all kinds of people who do not understand what he's talking about, because he is, again, what? Selling BS, selling snake oil to people for emote them, and that gives you what? Ratings and sells and gives you clicks. Let's put it this way. This is the only way.